Please take a seat in the audience. Thank you.
Calling the meeting to order. Attendance roll call
Supervisor Holdridge,
here.
Councilman Becker,
Here.
Councilman Courtney,
Here.
Councilman Ardisana and Dysinger are absent.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. There is a quorum established. Do we have public comment today from anybody in the audience? Please stand up.
This is in advance of the discussion.
Okay.
My name is Jeff Zahn. Many of you know me. I have some notes for myself. I'm a resident. I'm the president of the Sugarloaf Community Foundation. I am in the music business. Your kids will know me because I wrote the music. I have 4 Emmys for shows like Arthur, Caillou. I produce theaters across the country, theater productions that appear around the United States. I have an MBA in business. I have a theater background. I am close to the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center, which I adore. And I think I have a pretty interesting perspective, and I'm trying to expedite some of these ongoing meetings that I attend where people are asking for favors and people are asking for, and I think I can offer some opinions. With an MBA, I understand the implications of the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center. It is a rental thing. It has to kick back money, give money to the organization, to the town, and that creates kind of issues. Overall, quickly, is I think they're doing fantastic. I think it's a wonderful facility that is contributing, and I understand it has a nut to make, whether it's $200,000 and they're either close, which is amazing, or they're just under, but there are tax implications. But the point I want to make, there's a lot more to a Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center than just the bottom line. For me, for the town, I believe the promoters here, one of the promoters directly puts money into the economy. He pays for a pizza place, could be $70,000. He pays for hotels. It could be the Holiday Inn. There's money directly going to the community. Second, the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center brings people into town. They go to Tin Barn, Dale, and they spend money there. They go to Cancun, because I do it. They're directly putting money into the economy of here. But there's a third thing we don't talk about, and in business there's a term called, they call it, let me look it up, emotional income, emotional revenue. Every town, you go to Goshen, it has a racetrack. You go to Forestburg, it has a theater. You go to Woodstock, it has its identity. You go to Warwick, it has its shops. What do we have? Allen's Falafel, dentistry, the auto place. The Performing Arts Center, I think, is critical to our identity. Why? My wife went to the Tom Petty concert. People from Westchester came. People from New Jersey came. It brings a lot of shoppers into the community. So I think it's a really undervalued facility that needs a lot of attention in a good way. Their political perceptions. This was bought by another administration. There's a little favoritism in the air. Who's getting what? Who's doing this? Who's perceiving favors here? So I had a couple quick suggestions. I think we don't have, and Paul can correct me, a mission statement. What is our mission statement at the Performing Arts Center? Really simple. What are we doing? What are we about? What are our goals? What is our philosophy? Every pack, if you go online, has a mission statement. We don't have it. Right now, it's a tiered system, but it's not clear. It's obtuse. I think we need a clearly defined multi-tiered system. So if you're a profit, you pay this. If you're a nonprofit, a 501c3, you pay this. If you're a fire department, Kiwanis, you pay this, with a discretionary component, meaning, all right, these guys don't have this. Let's have a discretionary component to do this. So I think it has to be a clear, multi-tiered, no ambiguity to take the pressure off Walt and the board. You guys don't know as much. We want to eliminate the perception of favoritism. Why? Because you could be open to legal actions. If this guy's getting 5 days and I'm getting 1 day, or Melissa from Warwick is doing this, and she goes, wait a second, I'm hiring local people and all. I don't want to pay for all of this because I'm doing this. It's not fair. So I think a multi-tiered, really explained system would be really, really helpful. If you book the place for free and someone comes out and says, I'll pay $1,000, I get bumped. I had a date and Walter was absolutely 100% right. I had 3 New York Philharmonic players coming in, And I had a date, and Walt says, Jeff, can you move the date? I could, but I had rehearsals for 3 members of New York Philharmonic. They weren't happy. He's 100% right. I shouldn't get the date. I was getting it for free. So I think you need a clear, articulated policy across the board. Another simple suggestions we'll discuss, not today, is that I know for a fact that people come to me and complain things are missing, things are taken. There's no security deposit. It'd be a really good idea to have a security deposit at some point that's refundable because things are broken. Things do happen to the staging. Another suggestion is that you're not expected to be experts in who comes to you and appeals. If they have a rock band outside playing at 9:30 for Creamery Pond people, you wouldn't know what the content, the orchestration is. I think you have a climate control advisory board. You have many boards, but it might be wise having some kind of Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center, just advisory board for you. I know Matt and I are talking about that, how we can dialogue and use people that know what they're doing to advise you on equipment, on programming, on what this content would be. I think you're not expected to know that. It's really important. There are people beside me with expertise. There's a woman in town that ran Prospect Park, 501c3 concerts. She ran Summer Stage in Central Park. She lives in town. She's really knowledgeable. You could put together a wonderful board of people that know this, that can articulate what are the must-haves, what are the want-to-haves. We want to eliminate people coming here and saying, I want 3 days, I want 5 days. If you want a discretionary fund and people are coming in for free, a lot of people use Eventbrite for tickets and they charge $15, $20. Why can't we put a policy of $1 goes to the town or $2 using Eventbrite? It's simple, articulated, not hard to do. So I think it's an underrated jewel. I think it's a little ambiguous and a little obtuse. And people are coming and complaining, I want 5 days, I want 3 days, I want a concert outside with rock bands and all that. I think we should be a little more educated and a little more informed so we can make informed decisions. I think it's a jewel. I think it's taken for granted. I think it's a big part of identity. And I think Walt is the polar opposite of me. And I'm a liberal Democrat, but he's doing a fantastic job because I'm there. And why do I know? Because I see what he's doing. And he's there at 11 o'clock at night. And he calls me back promptly. He's great. And Matt is selling the place out. He's got shows after show. He's investing in the community. He's investing in the place. I just think they need a little help in articulating a better policy for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, protocols are something we are looking at throughout the entire town, not just there, but that is a very important aspect of what we need to do. The original thing with this plaque, when it first came online with the town, was it was not given away free at all. So that's moved forward. But like you said, there's no set procedures and they really need to be set in place. Absolutely.
Agreed. Is there anybody else in the public? Yep.
Hello, my name is Matthew Matosi, and I think a lot of you guys know me. I run Diamond Grade Media. I'm one of the promoters at the theater. I heard a lot of topics being covered by Jeff in the last comments that he had. I just wanted to focus on one aspect, which I think is the idea of the value of the theater and the theater being used for free, the costs that the theater has both to you guys and to everybody else involved with it. I just know from my perspective, when we started at the theater, the biggest problem that we had was the value of a seat and the value of the building. Because the building had been closed for so long, the value of those things was relatively low. So it was actually hard to get bands to come to the building. It was hard to get people to come to pay for a seat. So it's taken a long time to raise the value of both of those things. They're two separate economies when you really look at it, the value of paying for a seat or the value of paying for the building as a rental. So it's taken a long time to bring those up to the point that really, I think the building is starting both in ticket prices and in its rental value to be worth at least the money that it's paid for, sometimes more even. And it's getting to the point now, and this is just my opinion, but you know, I'm really for there being some type of regulated structure, rules that are beyond the idea that every single person asking for a free day is taken as a separate concept. For instance, if there was a breakdown of rules to say the board would consider giving away the dates for free if you are a 501c3, if you give your finances of the date in the that you're asking for free, and you open your books to the concept of why you're asking for the date for free, etc., so that there's a layered structure to somebody even being considered to have a date for free. In my opinion, and I'm not trying to take away any authority from anybody else, but this is my opinion, I don't think any date should be given away for free. I think that conceptually, there are 501c3s and there are organizations that I think are worth donating to. But if there's profit coming in that day, at the very least, they should be showing you, and you guys should be deciding and saying, hey, this actually is a great cause. I know there's a veterans 501c3 coming in, right? So that's a cause for you guys to consider whether or not that's viable for a free day. And hopefully at 501c3, the books are open to the public. So you guys would be able to see exactly how they ran that day, and if it was worth the time and the effort the town puts in to donate to the organization, right?
I think the catch-22 comes in from our aspect too, is a lot of people are coming in for things that are going to take, weekends or whatever, that are months in advance. And I know they need to go through a process of lining everything up to make their event work. But it puts us in a difficult position because now we've booked a location. And, just like he mentioned, he doesn't want to get bumped, and we don't want to bump anybody, but another coordination.
Making a set of rules that even determine that, right?
Absolutely.
So
it's all being looked at.
There have been dates in the past where I have discussed with the town board and I've discussed with Walter about asking for a date for free. They usually are dates that we know are non-saleable.
Yep.
So some weekends just don't sell.
Or
right?
through the day when it's not being used.
Or during the day, or just, and with the knowledge that if a fully paying rental comes in that day, I know that date is going, and it should, right? So like,
it's still the community aspect. So that's a hard sell even.
Sure.
As much as you put it in there, it's a hard sell when I'm a type of person, if I made a commitment to somebody, I don't like to break that commitment.
Well, that obviously
that's the hard part.
Preliminary idea of what to make
absolutely.
as far as rules, but there can be a structure made where, let's just say a date comes in for a paid day.
Yeah.
Perhaps then you reconsider, the board reconsiders or whatever. But I just think that just to end, once we start giving away days for free there, you open up a whole new group. There is a group of people that runs, and for good reason, runs their companies, corporations, their not-for-profits only for free. They only go to places for free. So you open that up now to people asking regularly for dates for free for all different purposes. And, I just think right now we aren't open to that, and it's serving us well. It's making, the hope would be that, you start with Friday and Saturdays being valued.
Yeah.
Then Sundays become valuable. Now Thursdays are becoming valuable.
Yeah.
So the hope would be that even Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Mondays have some substantial value to them. Once a Thursday goes for free, Friday or Saturdays are hard because almost every Friday and Saturday is a contestable date that somebody wants. So that's just my 2 cents in it. And I thank you guys for the time.
No problem.
For
Thank
letting
you.
me speak. Appreciate it.
Definitely a thought process.
Yeah, and just to comment on it as well. I know this board is taking a hard look. We're looking under the hood of everything, the operational structure of the town as a whole. So the comments that have been made are well noted, and we have. We all have a little bit of, I think we're all on the same page up here as far as what we're looking to do with the theater. We know it's a value, it's a gem to the community. With that being said, we got to make sure we're also financially stable too. And to Matt's point about, we got to kind of take a look, because I know, and I'm going to use the example of the free concerts versus what you're doing. I don't know if that's the right blueprint to go to business myself. And that's one opinion of the whole thing. But as an example, I'm not sure. I think we shoot ourselves in the foot when we do that. So that's something that we have to really, I'm working on a financial report for the supervisor and the board, which I should be done hopefully this weekend with. But it looks like financially we're okay. Okay, so now we have to kind of put our structure together as what do we want to be? What do we stand for? I mentioned about a mission statement. It's the same thing. What do we stand for? What do we want to be about? Like for myself, to me right now, the building's empty, right? There's nobody in there. Why we got to go after, why can't Garnett Health hold a conference there? Why can't other big businesses hold conferences there? And I think we have to tap into that, okay? Because again, it's sitting empty. So why can't, there's no reason, we got to talk about structure and pricing and marketing and all
And
that
that
other
the
stuff.
structure could also be in touch with, are you using the theater? Are you using the pavilion? The cost associated with that, and how many people you're going to have in the building could also be associated with the cost. If you have a small group of 50, that's one cost. Possibly a group that's going to be 250 in the pavilion, you might want to look at
Yeah,
numbers.
I think we have to,
A broader spectrum of cost.
we've got to do some homework to just kind of, we got to identify who we are, what we're going to be moving forward. To me, the first thing, because that's the financial piece that's key. So if we're financially sound now, what do we got to do to market the place? What do we got to do for structure as far as, what we're going to bring in there, what we're going to use, what we're going to give out for free? Because there are some things that we should be doing, like the veterans. That's something we should support. The fire academy, the graduation, that's something we should support. The Dan Movie Foundation, that's something we should support. So, after that, then we got to kind of just try to figure out, but again, go back to the example of, we have free concerts, town puts on free concerts, and then we have Diamond Grade Media putting on concerts. I don't necessarily think that would, I know it's something we did. I don't necessarily agree with it.
We could also set a limit.
Huh?
We could also set a limit. We can only give away so many things
Or
per year.
we go, and that's a conversation we got to have. Maybe we can, once we get past the financial piece, set up something, and maybe do, Brandon, it's up to you, but some sort of a small advisory board to it.
I like the idea of an advisory board, but this should all be really discussed at a work session.
I was just going to go that you maybe set up another work
The
session.
only reason why I came back up is you reminded me of something that I wanted to speak to everyone about. So the Orange County Chamber of Commerce, we're having a relatively large event on February 8th in the morning. And it serves as an example of exactly what you guys were discussing. That's another way to monetize the building. So that is something that I've been discussing with the chamber, because they have access to all of the businesses who are looking for space to rent for a host of different reasons, mostly during the day, mostly during weekdays. And so it was just something that I thought was worth discussing.
I think there's a whole other market we're not capitalizing, but again, to the supervisor's point, we'll set up a workshop for that and go through that, and then we'll figure out our identity and see what we want to be about.
Step up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
That's okay. These are theater people, they talk. My name's Paul Ellis. I'm sure you all know who I am. I think I know everybody in this room, so that's easy. I just want to address one thing on the issue of the use of the Sugarloaf Pack, is the community aspect of it. We taxpayers own it. Government is not a business. Government is a service organization. Government doesn't make profit. Government's goal is not to make profit. We bought a building. However it happened, we bought a building. We also have a senior citizen center. We're not addressing the senior citizen center and how much money it can return on its cost of building, but we are addressing the PAC that way. We're addressing the senior citizen center as a service organization for seniors and activities in that space. As a community goes, I think one of the easiest ways and the simplest ways to look at use of this space is how much of it directly involves our community. You have nonprofits coming in. If you ask the American Cancer Society for their nonprofit status, they could present it. They could also present you a multi-million-dollar budget. But if you go to a local organization like the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, any local organization, or even our day camp that wants to expand a cultural facility into a cultural camp, there's a community aspect to this that really needs to be taken a look at. 50 years I've been in the arts business as a community arts producer. I've worked for multiple governments. I've worked for Orange County. I've worked for Bergen County. I've worked for the city of Newburgh. I worked for the city of Montclair. I've worked for a number of independent performing arts centers, the Bergen County Performing Arts Center, the Williams Center for the Arts in the Meadowlands. There's always a community component on how you deal with your constituents that are paying the bill. If you don't make, you're not. You say you're making, you're not. If you don't make, you're not. That bill is going to be picked up by me and the other taxpayers.
Absolutely.
And in return, I haven't got a problem with doing that. If you don't make your nut, now my taxes have to support that building. I'm an art supporter. I don't have a problem doing that. But in return, I would like to see some availability. If you're going to come up with a structure, community members first. Chester owns the building, not the Knights, not Melissa Patton, not those other companies. We own it.
Yep. All of those are our concerns and
Thank
a
you.
secondary concern.
Thank you for your consideration on my applications.
But I also look at the aspect of, even though we may be breaking even, my thought process is we have a building that's going to need future maintenance. We're actually looking into a plan to get the water from the district into the building because the system that's there now is, it's aged and we'd like to definitely make improvements.
We now own the road.
Yeah.
There's a plan out there because I know I submitted
Yep.
it 10 years ago for putting city water
Yeah.
into Sugarloaf.
But that's in the works, but everything.
Put the sidewalks down, you gotta put the water.
Everything's going to cost money. And again, what kills us is the prevailing wage. So in light of, a price for something, we've just escalated that price. We're going to try to work in-house as much as property as possible. So those are things, that's my outlook. We still need to hopefully make more money than just breaking even, because breaking even doesn't cover the future maintenance of that building. So those are another concern in top of everything else. So there's just a multitude of things to look at. And they all are being considered.
Is there any public comment from online?
I have nothing.
Anything else from the audience? No? All right, moving on then. The PEP Productions events at the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center. We accidentally waived the fee from the last meeting when it was supposed to be a reduced fee. It was supposed to be $375 per day.
Mhm.
Per day.
Per day.
So for 2 days or 3 days in October.
2 days. 2 days.
October. Yeah. So I would like to motion to rescind the fee waiver in favor of a reduced fee at $375 for the 2 days in October for this event. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Is there any? I should pay first. All right, roll call vote.
Supervisor Holdridge.
Aye.
Councilman Becker.
Aye.
Councilman Courtney.
Aye.
No nays, no abstentions. The motion passes. Thank you for working with us on that.
Thank you. I'm sorry for the mix-up.
Is that $375 a day or $375 for the 2 days?
No. a
Per day.
Per day.
For 2 days.
Yeah.
No, it's 2 days.
Nick, I had originally abstained from this because I didn't have all the information. So more information was brought to us that moved us forward in this direction.
And I do have, I just got a text that what we were talking about, letter from the arts. State Council.
Yeah, you emailed it to us.
Yep.
I
I
sent
gave you the vision, the other one from the arts council coming today.
Okay.
There are two sponsors.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yep, thank you for that information.
Thank you.
All right, longer conversation now. Core Theater Group LLC to rent theater for the hair production. There's a lot that's going into this. Walt, can you step up?
Sure.
Walt is the Performing Arts Center Director.
All right, so we were approached, and I spoke to Bob about this. We were approached by Core Theater, which is a relatively new theater group. They would like to perform hair on the back lawn. In the past, we've had people rent the back lawn or rent the front lawn for the $500 fee. No use of the bathrooms or anything inside, but we've only done it for 1 day. This will be 7 days.
Yeah.
So this will be 7 days. It'll start on a Monday, rehearsal, and then Thursday would be their first show. Friday would be their second show, and Saturday I think they would have either one show or 2 shows, and then Sunday they would have another show. So they're looking to do a bunch of shows. So my concern on it was, number one, it's 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay. We've never done anything like that before. The second concern I had was, Bob, I know you have a decibel meter. What is the decibels that we can do outside? Because this is not taking place during the day. These shows are probably going to be starting like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, going until about 10 o'clock,
I was gonna say,
which
like,
brings my second point on that is, what is our curfew?
So any noise disturbance, unreasonable noise from any source between the hours of 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. on weekdays, and between the hours of 11 p.m. and 8 a.m. on weekends. So 9 p.m. is, in our code here for noise ordinance, is the
time frame.
Okay, so 9 o'clock. So so now we figured out that they have to end by 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the decibel levels? Because I know Dale is here and I know that he's had some problems with decibel levels for bands at his place. So, it's not Anne Murray out there singing. It's going to be, rock music going on. So where does that leave us on decibel? Do we have to have a decibel meter out there, or are we?
like I said, I have the meter, so I'll give it to you. I don't use it, so I'll give it to you at the theater, so you have it.
Right.
But I think the venue has to understand very clearly the parameters. I mean, that, they got to be respectful and responsible. Because I know, you go to listen to different types of music, or you're out doing something little by little. It must be like the nature of the beast. They like to turn it up a little more. Then all of a sudden you got.
Then it's back up to
So that's got
90 decibels.
That's got to be controlled by us.
And that's fine. And then the other piece of that is now you have 7 days of this happening back by the lake or the pond, which amplifies it because it amplifies over the
All the
pond.
neighbors.
And it's not just that one day anymore. It's 7 days. So my concern was that, listen, I'm neither for or against this, but I just wanted to present it to you guys because
Absolutely.
when this, if something in the residents of the Creamery Pond area or Sugarloaf in general come complaining, they're going to complain to me, but they're going to complain to you,
Absolutely.
and they're going to, and they have every right
It's-
to
it's-
if we
it's their
don't
peace of
address this
mind.
first.
We did, let me just say that on our work with Richard, we had a tent down there on that spot for 3 seasons. And, we got complaints, even though it's
Yeah.
been closed in. Here's a quiet lot, music on it, done here many times, I've been on here many times. Mosquitoes can kill them anyway. Mosquitoes can kill them anyway.
Well,
So reading the code here, for what constitutes as a noise disturbance, is anything in excess of 85 decibels.
But
I personally, I've made my opinions about the current state of the code for noise ordinances clear in the past, but as written right now, it's 85, and I know that can be pretty high
and that's conflicting with another part of our code that says it's 70 in our
comp plan.
comp plan.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, the code is, the comp plan should be, that's part of the reason
Yeah.
why I want to
Revisit.
revisit and fix all this, but the, as per written, the code right now, it's 85, and 85 is high, and, that, especially with the water amplification for the Creamery Pond residents.
Absolutely.
That'd be tough, so.
we have a Creamery Pond resident here. I mean, you might want to ask her what her thoughts are.
Well, I'm very against it, obviously. I can tell you that I waterfront property, and I can hear people just talking across the pond. That's how much it carries. And it's great that we have a noise ordinance, but it doesn't take into account the water.
Well,
I'm
just
sorry, I think it's moot because your point, Bob, is a sound meter to put on production is bulk of the test. It takes time, money, effort. You got to get to the spot. And at rehearsal, you're going to put the sound meter on and say, sorry, guys, you canceled, you couldn't go on. Tons of money is going to put into marketing, places, right? Here's the sound meter. Oh, you're at 87. It's canceled. It's 8:30. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, not be
Well,
canceled.
is there any,
It all has to do with-
maybe
I mean,
we set up,
volumes are always settable.
is there a possibility of maybe meeting with them and just talking about, and I know
We
nothing,
could.
I know nothing about this, so I'm
Yeah,
just
sure.
throwing something out there. Could they put something up behind, like if they're down by the water, put up something, like something on a sound barrier of some
Yeah,
sort
I
up by
mean,
the
we
water
can
to
ask
try to
that.
mitigate some of it? I know you're not going to get rid of it all.
They are open to sitting down and discussing this, anything that needs to be
Because
done.
we can do some testing with sound and whatnot now, as opposed to, let it get a little nicer out, we could, then we can go outside and do all of that, and maybe they can do something with the backdrop or something that will at least mitigate some of it.
So that might be, I bring them in to meet you guys and talk to you guys in like a session, a work session that, this is what we need. This is our concerns. And, I'm going to be quite honest, when this was approached to me, the first thing I said was, what is Chris Mauer going, how is she going to take this? And that's why I said sound and curfew, because, I don't want them coming to me and, saying, hey, you made this decision.
Have you discussed the noise ordinance with them? Like, did you not know what the
Yes,
parameters were before?
Yes, I told them this was happening today, that this was being discussed. Don't do anything. Don't go buy your posters yet. Don't do anything. Don't get Eventbrite set up.
Is there a date at which they need an answer, a hard deadline answer by?
I could find that out. I can
Yeah.
find that out today.
I imagine that we're gonna need to table this at this time, because there's just too many
there's too many
variables here,
variables.
and it doesn't seem, right now, the way it's looking, it doesn't seem like it conforms what they would want out of it to what we have available here in our code and our residents' needs. I'm still willing to talk to them about it, because I want to
Sure.
give them a fair hearing. But at this time, it doesn't really seem like it's going to work. But I think we should table it for now and talk to them about it, and just to hear them out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we just tell them
Move
to go
forward.
somewhere else.
And this is why it's before you, because I figured there was going to be some kind of a problem with it because of the noise order. And I know you guys, and Dale is the perfect example. Dale has been, with the sound, and you're putting sound outside, it's gonna,
It's gonna travel.
But you also have part of your equation should be asking their creative plan, meaning if it's just Paul Lozell's a piano player, just a piano player, that's one element.
Right.
But if there's a drum, a snare drum at 9:00 and a guitar and full band, you have to consider that as.
I got a feeling it's gonna be like music, like a sound system.
They're
Like
gonna be using-
playing the
I know
music.
They're gonna be doing a concert version, they're not doing a full flag. But I've spoken to them about this because I'm a forever reason. They're doing a concert version. They're not doing a full flag. They're an equity company, they are a union company. What are they paying for I don't know.
For what?
numbers, But what are they paying for the lawn as opposed to going inside the game?
Well, the lawn is $500 a day. That's what we normally charge
Yeah.
for the Mulvey Foundation and anybody else who takes the lawn out front, as opposed to $2,500 inside.
That's what I didn't know.
So, I mean, you're talking
Have
7
we-
days.
We've had other events there where they, the organization itself provides the porta john.
Yes.
So we have.
Well, they know that too, that if
Yeah.
it's outside, that the inside does not get opened up.
Yeah.
And the building is off limits. You bring porta potties and everything else you need. Backstage is an area you set up with tents and stuff like that with sides on it. That's your back. They know all of that.
Mhm.
But the concern was, this is 7 days. I've never done
I
7
think we
days
just
before.
have a meeting with them and
Yeah.
just kind of,
Yeah, so I'll set it up. You guys, I'll ask them
Yeah.
when's a good time and you tell me when's a good time and just sit down and say, hey, listen,
These are the
this is our
concerns.
concerns. How can you alleviate those for us to say yes?
Is there a motion to table this event?
I'll make the
We
motion.
don't need to? Okay.
Well, I just offer
I'll undo the
a
motion.
fallback of doing it in the pavilion. See, it's 250 people and it's indoors and it takes away the noise.
There could always be the full whack of that. I don't know what their thinking is.
Yeah, or we're gonna have to have a discussion about this more in depth at another time. Let's,
Can
thank
we
you.
move
Bill.
forward? Thank you.
All right, moving on. And this is probably a good reason to possibly have that advisory committee that knows more about it. Knows more about this. School of Visual Arts in New York City to rent theater for a movie shoot. So this organization is asking to rent the theater the Super Bowl Sunday for a reduced price at $1,500 instead of what? What it was?
25.
It would normally be $2,500.
Right. So otherwise, we don't have any events that day, and it wouldn't be used anyway. And they claim that they can't pay the $2,500.
Yeah, when they said that, they said, can you do better? I said, I can ask the board, what is your number that you would feel comfortable? And their answer was, we could probably come up with $1,500. So I approached a spot coordinator and said, hey, listen,
Do we want $1,500 for a day that's like 12 days away? That's an unrentable day,
Mhm.
or do we want no $100? You know, and that's up to the board, you know, it's.
That is,
And Robert Smith will be able to adjust his hours to cover it since you'll be gone?
Robert already said yes.
Okay.
now also with the 2,500, does that include usually the cleanup of the
We're
building?
only gonna have 25 people in there, so there's.
Okay.
gonna be very minimal mess.
You said they would use the back bathrooms, right? They wouldn't even use the main theater.
Go upstairs.
Okay, I'm looking at, because you usually charge $500 for the cleanup for different things. Does that 500, is that usually included in the 25? Okay, so that's on top, so it would be naturally like $3,000 for somebody really to use the
That's
theater.
exactly what it is.
Okay.
500 wasn't the 500.
Okay, so they're going to be limited to bathrooms also,
Just the one in the
To-
back
to-
dressing room,
okay,
which-
to minimize our cost.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
The town clerk just reminded me of the code that we have for films and for getting proper permittation for that and everything. Has that been considered?
I didn't even know that existed, so.
I forgot about that too.
I know we're all chiming in from the audience, but I'm 95% sure that that is like a student thesis film.
That's what it is.
Students.
Instead of like a full-on.
I don't think it's the School of Visual Arts shooting a film. I think it's
Right.
graduating students shooting their thesis film. So I just don't know.
It's
the
not
access
all
they
one.
have to.
Okay.
To permit it, you know.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, we'll just do some other review on that just to make sure we're buttoned up. But I mean, I guess pending, that review and everything, I think it's safe to say that this should be fine. Is there any other debate or discussion from the town board?
Not at this time.
No, I'm good.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Pending some review about the code for film. Is that
Yes,
Yeah.
the
that's a
motion?
consideration.
Okay. All right, all, roll call vote?
Supervisor Holdridge,
Aye.
Councilman Becker,
Aye.
Councilman Courtney.
Aye.
No no nays, no abstentions. The vote passes pending some code review. Otherwise, you can say it's good to go. Just let them know that caveat, that we're just gonna look into the code and make
I'll ask
sure.
them if it's a student film, thesis film and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple days, so, hopefully they still even want to do it.
Okay. All right. They knew that we were meeting about this
Yes.
today? Okay. All right. Pest control, step right up.
So I put 3 proposals to the board. We have several buildings in the town that have problems with critters and spiders and ants. Seasonally, sometimes we have the 2 parks. The 3 buildings that would mostly be affected would be Town Hall, the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center, and the Senior Center. And then the parks are really seasonal, so they can be as needed. I spoke to 3 different companies. American Pest Control was
95 per month?
95 per month, and then 70 per if you had
If
an extra
we didn't go
need.
the monthly, we could do $70 per
Correct.
problem.
Correct.
And then Hollenbeck,
Hollenbeck was different per building. I don't have it right in front of me. I believe it was 85 for the senior center and for town hall monthly, and then 135 for the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center, because really it's almost 2 buildings plus.
Yeah.
and then there's an initial setup fee for each
There is
one.
an initial, so I had the 2 companies that came out. One of them was Terminex, and I don't believe that they do prevailing wage. So
That was
they-
the third company.
that was the
total.
third company. Hollenbeck is able to do whatever's required for prevailing wage and whatever paperwork is associated with that. I'm not familiar with it, but I know that it exists. So they sent out someone who was very informative. They will do a whole initial breakdown of the property. They bring in their own traps and baits and, take care of all of that for us. So it's like not even a concern. So I thought they were, in my opinion, the more professional company. They've contacted me several times, asked if we had any questions. This is a yearly contract. If it doesn't work, we can get out of it. But that would address the needs, I believe.
I just have a question. On part of that contract, are they gonna look at the outside of these buildings to tell us we
They are the only
this is
one-
where they're
yeah.
coming from? type
So
of
this,
thing,
yeah,
instead of-
so
They
they,
do
the
comprehensive
person that
review.
I brought around to each of the facilities was very in-depth, looked at our basements, looked at all of our, and had suggestions on how to prevent things like that. He looked at our walls and said, obviously something was changed here and it looks like there's a hole and that's where things are getting in and this is what you can do. So I felt that they were more complete, in my opinion.
Hollenbeck.
Yes.
Yes.
Terminex is.
They never got back to me as far as the prevailing wage. They gave me the quote, but I,
And those are the only 3 companies we were able to.
that's the only
Scout
3
out.
that I could get. I called another company in Monroe who said that we were just too big and they couldn't handle what we were looking for.
After our discussions, I felt comfortable with the Hollenbeck company also. Very responsive.
Yeah.
Bob, do you have any opinion on
Thank you.
American versus Hollenbeck?
Hollenbeck sounds like they,
It does.
they have a better plan to go to try to help us with our issues, so.
Okay. So have they presented us with like a contract yet?
Yes,
Hollenbeck has.
Yeah.
It has. I need to have them change that because I was the contact person, so they put my name on it, and obviously I'm not the
Gotta go
decision
to-
maker, so
gotta
I'll
go
have
to the
them.
town.
I said once you guys met and discussed that I would contact them and give them the appropriate information, and then they'll send out a new contract.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor to accept their proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign said proposal
I'll make that motion
I'll second.
for Hollenbeck?
for Hollenbeck, yes.
Roll call vote.
Supervisor Holdridge,
Aye.
Councilmember Becker,
Aye.
Councilmember Courtney.
Aye.
No nays, no abstention. Hollenbeck proposal has been accepted.
All right, I will make that happen today so we can get these things taken care of.
And I have been like 3 times already.
All right. Insurance cost allocation. So a lot of people probably heard the breakdown from the last meeting, and then furthermore in my social media posts about this. I did the math, and we exactly have $111,111.92 unallocated for unbudgeted for our insurance after the increase from last year. So we need to pay that money, and it's not budgeted. So we're going to be needing to use fund balance for that. So I need a board vote to allocate those funds from the fund balance. Is there any discussion on the matter?
No, I think we've been over it, so.
Pretty straightforward.
Straightforward. A shame we have to do it, but
Yeah.
we have no choice.
All right. Is there a motion on the floor to use fund balance to cover this unbudgeted cost for our insurance?
I will make the motion.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All right. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Holdridge,
Aye.
Councilmember Becker,
Aye.
Councilmember Courtney.
No nays, no abstention. Vote passes. Thank you. Finally, call it just a few new business stuff. We had a request from Chris Cox for, I'll just read it real quick. They'd like to send Connor, one of our water admins, to Morrisville, New York State College to get his Class C water license. Classes from February 20 to the 23rd at the cost of $525. He would have to get a hotel to stay up there for a cost of $936.74. I'd have to ask the town to reimburse him for food and gas to go up there. The total for the hotel and class is $1761 and then 74 cents. So I'm asking the town board approval at the upcoming meeting for him to take the class and send him to his class, as the take home and online is no longer available, unfortunately. So the complete total amount estimated is $2,500, but then the town clerk alerted to the limits for reimbursement on a few things.
Yeah, $50 per.
$50 per day for meals
Uh-huh.
and reimbursement is for mileage, not gas per se,
Yes.
but that should cover his expenses with regard to gasoline, I would believe.
And I emailed,
67 cents per mile.
I believe I emailed this information to Chris, so they should be aware. So
Make a resolution subject to not to exceed a certain amount.
right, but what amount?
I don't know if you can do that,
Yeah.
if you're saying you're going to reimburse, the reimbursement on mileage is the reimbursement. So unless you actually do a calculation on the mileage.
No, well,
So the only other thing, we know the number of the course, we don't know the number of,
we know the number for the course and the hotel.
oh, you have the
Plus- so
hotel?
then it would
Okay.
be Plus mileage.
Plus
and
mileage.
meal reimbursement.
Yes, whatever that is, and that
Okay.
needs to be recorded by Connor.
Okay, so that, we can do it subject to that then.
Okay, so is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Supervisor Holdridge.
Aye.
Councilmember Becker.
Aye.
Councilmember Courtney.
Aye.
No aye, no nays, no abstentions, vote passes. All right. There was another from,
Julie Tiller?
no, we already passed that one.
Okay.
It was from Linda. Vote to place an ad for the part-time position.
Yes.
For, what was that again?
Part-time clerk.
For the town clerk's office.
Right.
Okay. The town clerk needs a vote from us to place an ad out for a part-time clerk for the town clerk's office. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Supervisor Holdridge.
Aye.
Councilmember Becker.
Aye.
Councilmember Courtney.
Was there a set, did you come up with a salary, any more salary information on that
I did
position?
forward it
It was $23 an hour.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the number will be used.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I think that's what we were looking at.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So that we don't have to make a motion for that, you just.
No, I
you
think
s-
at the time of hire, if there's a
Okay.
placement, then you would set the salary. and
Okay.
the Effective date.
Didn't know whether we needed any discussion on that, that's all.
There's a motion and second on the floor. There was a vote. There's no ayes, there was no nays or abstentions. The vote passes. All right, I believe that's it. Is that it?
That's all I have.
Oh, I just had one other thing. I missed a report from the engineer firm. I'll just read that real quick from last meeting. Over the past 2 weeks, we have met with various departments. This is from Lincoln Tully, our new engineering firm. We met with various department heads and are now up to speed with the majority of ongoing projects that were left off. I will provide a brief summary. Water, our office has met with Councilman Becker in January to discuss several water system improvements which include the Sugarloaf water and well recommissioning and visiting the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center to discuss extensions of water service to the property. Our office is researching the existence of an easement to potentially provide a shorter route for the required water main. And so that there is private property that.
There is an easement between two properties, that's still the plan that Richard had given us. And I,
That easement isn't in yet. It's just a plan.
no, the easement exists.
Oh, it does exist.
Yes, it is, it does exist. And he's looking for the, he's looking at the feasibility of how to get water to the facility in the best, the most appropriate way to bring it in.
So it's all our property. We can go.
It's not our property, it's an easement
Right,
across somebody
I know
else's
you-
property.
I know
yeah.
you do, but
Yeah.
we have the ability to go.
Yes.
Okay. Senator Scoopus was asking to possibly look into grant funding for us. to
Okay,
get
great.
that.
Awesome.
So he just wanted to make sure that.
He's just doing, he's looking at the feasibility and putting an engineering report together because we have to, in order to do this, we have to do it as a water main extension. And it has to go before the county
Okay.
for approval. And that'll also leave us open to future movement through the hamlet.
All right. Our office also discussed with the Walton Lake well exploration process and potential designs for new wells and treatment. Our office is working on a conceptual map of the improvements. Building department, our office has spent the past 2 weeks becoming familiar with the office and have assisted beginning to organize and create an interim process for processing permitting. Our office reviewed ongoing property violations and have completed site inspections as required for various submitted permits ranging from deck inspections to additions. The following are significant properties which files have been reviewed and have been visited for inspection: 256 Black Meadow Road, 43 LK Drive, the Capelli Sports Complex, 3549 Route 94, 17 Speranza Court, the Greens of Chester, and 435 Dale Vale Road. Our office met with the owner of 43 LK Drive in January to discuss site conditions. They met with Capelli Sports to go over site conditions. They met with the supervisor, town attorney, building clerk to review building department files currently under violation. And they met with 256 Black Meadow Road to review their application status and stop work order for the building department. Highway, our office met with the highway superintendent in January to look at damage to the Pond Road culvert and sewer force main. And then finally, our office met with the highway superintendent also in January to look at drainage concerns in 84 Brennan Court. That is the full report from the Lincoln Tully, our engineering firm, who has been serving as our interim building inspector and has been doing a damn good job at it. So thank you, Lincoln Tully. Today, we finally have our new building inspector in February 1st. This is first day, so they will no longer be serving as their building and our interim building inspector. That's about it from Lincoln Tully.
Yep.
Is there any other public comment from the public out in the audience or online?
Can I ask a question, Brandon?
Sure.
Wonderful things are happening in Sugarloaf with the road turning over the mountain. And one thing that's been a concern, if you can share light on, is the Scotts Meadow buildings that are an eyesore in town.
Yes.
Is there any update, anything being done?
I have been on the county about this because that is theirs. Justin, Allen, and Glenn Ellers is our county legislator, and they have no idea what they're doing with it. Not to say that they're like they don't know what they're doing. I mean, but they don't have a plan for it yet. They don't know what the plan is for it. So I continue to follow up with them. They continue to tell me that they don't know. They're still waiting for direction from the county executive and the legislator on it. But they don't know. They don't have a plan. I will continue to follow up. I literally follow up like every 2 months saying, hey, what's going on? And they say, we'll let you know, but we don't really know.
But sorry, who's got the leverage? They make the plan, or we offer as citizens and residents, here's what we need here. I need a coffee shop.
We absolutely can. You absolutely can. I can put you in touch with our county legislator, Glenn Ellers, and I can attend a meeting with you if you want to be an advocate for what the Community Foundation and the Chamber of Commerce or anybody from Sugarloaf, would like to. Maybe we can have like a short little town hall meeting on it with our county representation. Just say, hey, here's all of the people from Sugarloaf. This is what they'd love to see here, or these are all the ideas, the various ideas of what they'd like to see. Maybe the county can move on it.
We have the best ideas. We live there. We know the needs. Of what we
Yeah,
need.
I'm sure the county is looking to work with everybody, including the town, and what their plan would be there. So it's us bringing that plan to them. So this is perfect.
So what's the process? What's the next step?
Setting up a meeting.
Yeah, setting up a meeting.
That's it.
Which
You gotta verbalize and communicate.
Yeah.
Without communication, you have nothing.
I just talked to them last week.
And they didn't tell you anything different?
We're in discussion.
Exactly.
We're in discussion. They're open.
Yeah, I know there's stuff that, from community members that they'd like to see the county do. I also know that it's been discussed to just put it back on the tax rolls and let somebody buy it and occupy it as the home or business or whatever. There's a lot of different discussions.
How can we have a unified front so we're organized and going with a mission?
Yeah, we can set up a meeting with county legislator Glenn Ellers and
That's
see
the
if we
starting
can have
point.
him be our advocate or be your advocate to see what the community would want. But it's up to the county at the end of the day.
We leave it to you if you put on your agenda.
I'm writing it down now.
Thanks.
But again, it's also an influence from this town board because, we are within the county, and I think they are receptive to our thoughts also.
All right, that being said, is there any other public comment at this time?
I just have a question. I want to find out where we stand on the double library tax for the residents of Chippewa.
Yes, I'm going to continue, just like the
Sorry.
last, no problem. Just like the last 2 years, I'm gonna continue to hound the state legislator about it and try to get our bills passed. I know previously the bills did not get passed because the governor would like to have seen it, that kind of funding in the budget for a study. It's just a bunch of different ways to say that they don't want to do anything about it because it's just too much work. You know, to make a study on something that doesn't need a study.
It's a no-brainer.
It's just a, so I spoke to Senator Skoufis, and I think I spoke to Assemblyman Brian Mayer about this, and, you know, to us, it's all an easy fix. To them, there's a bunch of bureaucracy and, you know, laws and legalese and everything. But I'm trying to work with them to just create a bill to say, you know, like, this should be applied statewide. This is how it should be. So, you know, people, because it's not just the residents of Sugarloaf and the town of Chester and the county of Orange that gets double taxed. This is a statewide issue.
But there's some people in Goshen who pay no library tax at all, and we're paying double. It just, as it is an easy fix. All it has to do is the state mandates that whatever school district you're in,
Exactly.
that's what library.
That's exactly the bill that I want them to create.
That's great.
So that's exactly the bill that I want them to create.
We reward.
I'm sorry?
That means we in Sugarloaf reward.
Right. It usually is.
That's an effect, but doesn't that affect the budget of the library, the local?
That's the,
That's the problem.
yeah, that's
We take
the,
Warwick tax, we take away the Chester tax, and we pay Warwick. Now Warwick's got more money, and more money, and Chester's got nothing for its library.
that's the debate.
They
It's,
Monroe Woodbury people, let them pay Monroe Woodbury, let the Goshen, and listen to Chester will have no library.
that is the debate. That it's either should be town lines or should be school district lines, you know.
And it's both.
And right now it's both,
Right now it's
to,
both.
right.
It's like $15 a year.
But unfortunately, it's either do we put a strain on the library systems or do we put a strain on the residents, you know, to pay, you know, more taxes. So it's why nothing's gotten done. But I'm going to continue to advocate on the behalf of the residents.
Is there something that we can do as residents?
Well, you can call your state legislator and say something needs to be done. I know, but if you stop calling, then there's no pressure at all, and nothing will ever get done. We can sit here and say that we complained about it for years and nothing's gotten done, and then not call anymore, and then
Maybe
nothing
it-
gets done.
Maybe a petition
Mhm,
being circulated.
mhm. I'm going to continue to advocate, and I will help in any way I can. I've talked about this for years, and I continue, and not just talked about it. I've actually spoken to, and I've called not just our own state legislators. I called other state legislators throughout the state that were signed on to the bill, the statewide bill that used to be on the floor, and said, "Hey, I'm from Chester." They're like, "Where the hell is that?" And I said, like, you know, I like your bill. You need to get it passed, and like, what can I do? And so I've been on it, and I will continue to be on it. And we should think outside the box in ways to apply more pressure to see if something can get done. All right. Is there any other public comment at this time? No? All right. That being said, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we're within an hour. When I said it was gonna take 15 minutes, so.